They are due 1 week from today. BDO National Managing Partner of Tax Risk Management's Office of Tax Quality and Risk Management. Joining us now, Todd Simmens. Good to have you here.
Good morning.
There are a lot of things people need to consider when doing their taxes, even if they only have this week. But the rest of us, some of us might have gotten stimulus checks or the additional $600 a week in unemployment benefits. This all plays into the tax picture even after next July 15, right?
Right. Of course. And the deadline coming up. And of course, if you can't make July 15th, you do still get that opportunity to file an extension. So you can buy yourself a couple more months as well.
Todd, I want to ask you, and I know obviously we're filing for last year, but I do want to ask you because I think there's some confusion over those stimulus checks and unemployment checks. How are they taxed? How should people be thinking about those? Even as they're filing for last year, I would imagine they're still having to make some decisions now about those kinds of checks.
Well, the stimulus checks should not be considered income. And of course, you were given a stimulus check based on the income that you reported, whether it was in 2018, 19, or even in some instances 20. So it would not be considered taxable income. And in some instances, the IRS may be waiting for your 2019 return to determine whether you get a stimulus check. There can be cases where you didn't make it based on 18, but you might based on 19 or even 20. So that could be an impact as well.
When we talk about these different kinds of situations, you can also get an extension, though, can't you? I mean, there's still time to say I'm not ready by the 15th.
Absolutely, and it's similar in some ways and different for individuals and businesses. So if you're an individual, you can file an extension by July 15th, which will give you until October 15th to file your tax return. It does not defer your payment deadline. For businesses, same thing. You can file an extension in July 15th to generally get an extension to October. Businesses must be 90% paid in by July 15th or the extension is invalid. Individuals, however, get a little more relief. For individuals, you don't technically have to be paid in by July 15th. As long as you get that extension in, you'll get the additional due date. But you have to be careful. You could have penalties and interest, though, on late payments. So that's one thing that you have to think about.
Hi, Todd. It's Julia LaRoche, and I'm going to be a little selfish with my question here.
Yeah.
I'm still a newlywed, so what's kind of the benefit of filing jointly versus filing separately? I mean, we are technically in wedding season, so.
Yep. Well, if you file joint, by combining your income together, you can get a wider shot at the tax rate brackets. Now, interestingly, for some married folks, filing joint can actually be a bit of a penalty. Now, years ago, I think in my Capitol Hill days, there was talk about trying to eliminate that marriage penalty. If both spouses are working, technically you might do better filing as unmarried individuals because you both get an opportunity to go up the tax rate brackets. When you combine your income, the rate brackets can be a bit more narrow as a married couple. But if one spouse is working and the other one's not, you definitely, in most cases, get a benefit from it. That's really the big change you're going to find it's in the rate bracket. You'll get exemptions. You'll get some of the other benefits. You'll get some of the phase outs and benefits and credits. They'll actually almost double those amounts for married couples. So you'll see those kind of similar to what you might be getting as a single taxpayer.
Todd, it's Julie again. I want to circle back around to something you were saying about 2019 potentially determining your status, whether you can get stimulus this year. Are there also cases where you have received stimulus, the IRS looks at your 2019 returns and says, well, actually, you weren't eligible for that stimulus and asks you to repay the money? Is that a risk?
There can be. And in fact, those instances have come to my attention in our practice where folks have received stimulus checks that shouldn't have. And it could be, Julia, in your case, it could be folks that might not have qualified based on their income numbers. It could also be folks getting them who are claimed as exemptions on, say, their parents' tax return, getting stimulus checks by mistake. And there is a process the IRS has to sort of send those back, for lack of a better way to put it, and return those checks to the IRS.
Todd, I'm curious about, how many people are not able to pay their taxes? I mean, there's a big question about tax relief as a result of job losses, over the last several months. What are you hearing from clients on that end?
So, Kiko, you're absolutely right. The IRS is aware, and even before the pandemic, taxpayers were having some issues paying taxes, and the IRS has programs in place for you to either defer them or to put yourself on a payment plan, or to even compromise your liability if payment is really that difficult. Now, during the pandemic, the IRS has sort of put on hold a lot of their collection activity. So that's helped taxpayers just get a breather from liens and levies and other collection action. As the IRS continues to reopen, like the rest of society, those things will start to come loose and they will start to see collection again. But to your point, taxpayers can still apply for some of these payment plans. The key there is to contact the IRS early. As soon as you realize that you've got a potential payment issue, get in touch with a practitioner or the IRS and let them know right away so they can monitor your account, make notes that payment's going to be an issue, so they don't send collection notices and don't take what we call distraint action, like liens and levies, when they might not have to.
Hey investors, Zach Guzman here. Are you interested in learning more about the markets and getting the latest financial news? Well, then click right here to subscribe to our Yahoo Finance YouTube channel. Get the latest up-to-the-minute market analysis, big interviews in the world of finance, and information on how to manage your money every day wherever you are.